I think every Texan should have sustainable water forever. We need to make sure we have sustainable water not only for this generation, but for the next generations coming behind us. In the next 5 years, we're going to use 17% more water with the same amount of supplies. Where's that water going to come from? Right now, currently, the water that runs across your property may or may not belong to you. The water that's under your soil may or may not belong to you, depends on the county you live in. I know Austin, in that general area of Austin under the Edwards Aquifer, that water belongs to the Edwards Aquifer. It does not belong to the citizens. Even if you own a substantial amount of land, you don't own the water under your soil. What happens when we need more water? That water is not going to be available. One of the things that I think would be very popular, and one of the things that I really support, is desalination. I think that we could, in fact, build desalination plants on our coast and pump the water back to our major cities. We pump that water back to our major cities. We have a renewable source that's an infinite supply, and we can have water that would support our economy for generations to come. One of the things that really concern me is the surface and subsurface rights and the landowner rights. I think the landowner should own not only the surface rights, but they should own the water rights underneath their ground. Now, this is going to be an impossibility in some of the major cities, but in the country, I think that the farmer who has his land can dam up his land and own his own water rights. This is something that's going to be a political football, and it's going to be tossed around, and it has been tossed around for years. Water rights should belong to the landowner. One of the things that the opponents say is, why don't we keep the land, keep the water for these big subdivisions, for the populace? We have a lot of people that live upstream, and we're building more and more houses and more developments in the big city. When you look downstream and down towards the valley and down towards the coastal cities, you see a lot of these rice farmers that are damming up the water and using the water for their agricultural purposes. And it is a political football. Are we going to affect one farmer, or are we going to affect 10,000 people in a subdivision? But we don't realize that one farmer feeds how many people? That one farmer feeds thousands and thousands of people. So not only are you affecting that one farmer who's farming on his land, you're also affecting the 15,000 or 20,000 people that he feeds, as opposed to the 150, 200 people in a subdivision.